What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, March 15th. And be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comment section who your favorite plays are for today. And finally, shout out to No House Advantage for being the presenting sponsor of this video. If you use the promo code Awesemo when signing up, you can get up to $25 on your first deposit. Now we're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with CJ McCollum, Cole Anthony, Jaren Jackson, Isaiah Jackson, and Jeremy Grant on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? Time to find out. In first at number 5, a bit of a surprise to me, that's Dillon Brooks. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible, so right away we know we get guard, forward, and utility as well. My favorite positional designation. He's just 4,900. I've got him projected for 29. The goal is 39. He's in the optimal lineup 23% of the time. Now, he doesn't have the same sort of right tail as everybody else because I don't think that he has any real minutes upside. However, maybe he does. We've got no Ja Morant here. We know Dillon Brooks is going to like to shoot with Morant off the floor. I'm giving Brooks 28 minutes. He is still working his way back from injury. I'm not entirely sure about this minutes cap, but he played enough in the first game back that I assume 28 seems reasonable. But I guess he can get up to about 30. You never know. Hopefully he can. He's a little over a fantasy point per minute guy in this spot in a great matchup against an Indiana team that just isn't particularly good. 29% usage for Brooks, 18 points, very little else. Three and a half boards, 2.5 assists, a steal. None of that really matters because he's 4,900. Dillon Brooks' price just isn't really all that correct for today, especially if he can play a little bit more than I expect him to. But ultimately, you're taking Dillon Brooks for the price tag and for the positional flexibility. Next up at number 4, we're looking at Jimmy Butler. He's small forward, power forward eligible, 8,600, projected for 42.5. The goal's about 56, and he's in the optimal lineup 23% of the time. I gave Butler 35 minutes, 1.22 fantasy points per minute here. It's a great spot against Detroit. It might be a slightly paced down spot, but Miami, 13-point favorites here. You're kind of going to need this one to stay mildly competitive. Otherwise, you're going to need Jimmy Butler to do a lot of heavy lifting in 30 minutes. I think that it can stay mildly competitive. Detroit getting a little healthy, but it is something to worry about at least a little bit. 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 2 stocks. Look, it's Jimmy Butler. I'm sure you're not going to be surprised if he goes for 55 against the Detroit Pistons. So there's not too much that I really need to justify here. He's in. Miami is basically at full strength. The only guy that they're missing is Martin. So you're going to get normal freight out of Butler. It's possible that the Miami defense is just so good that it takes them out of a big time offensive game. But I'm willing to take my chances on Butler at 8,600. Next up at number 3, we're going to Buddy Hield. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible. Obviously, very beneficial there. 7,500, which is a pretty big price tag for Buddy Hield, but I think that's okay given his role for Indiana. Projected for 37, the goal is 51, and he's in the optimal lineup 25% of the time. Hield just plays monster minutes. I got him in for 38.96 fantasy points per minute in this spot. 21% usage might be a tad high for Hield, but I think that it opens up a little bit here in this massive pace up spot against the Memphis Grizzlies. Indiana gaining 3 possessions over their average. That's like a free fantasy point for Buddy Hield. And 7-point line isn't all that crazy. Hield should be out there for that full 38 minutes. 18 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, a stock and a half. You're paying a healthy price for Buddy Hield. I don't think it's all that crazy, given the flexibility you get from shooting guard, small forward. Staying with the Indiana Pacers, we're going to Malcolm Brogdon if he plays. He's point guard eligible, 7,800, projected for 42. The goal is 52. He's in the optimal lineup 25% of the time. When Brogdon comes back after being out, he just plays a ton of minutes, so I gave him 36, 1.16 fantasy points per minute. No Ja Morant on the opposite side. Big time pace up spot. Game should be competitive. Brogdon in for 24% usage, 20 points, 6.5 boards, 6.5 assists, and a stock. This guy's just out there doing it. And if you told me he played more than 36 minutes, I wouldn't even be surprised. I mean, like, this is a guy that'll play 38 to 40 minutes fresh off of a really extended stint on the injured list. So 7,800 for Brogdon in about as big of a pace up spot as you're going to get when the opposite team is missing their star. Yeah, I'm willing to do that. Now, before we get to that number one contender, one last reminder, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Let me know in the comments who your favorite plays are, and then sign up at No House Advantage using that promo code Awesemo. No other options for this one. Tyus Jones is your clear number one contender. No one is going to be surprised by this. He's point guard eligible. He's 3,400, projected for 30.5. The goal is 32. He's in the optimal lineup 44% of the time. Tyus Jones plays 30 minutes a game when Ja Morant doesn't play. I got him in for 30 here. He's a fantasy point per minute guy. It's pace neutral against Indiana. Most of this doesn't even matter. 13 points, 6.5 assists, 4 boards, and a stock and a half. Look, you just don't get fantasy point per minute starters playing 30 minutes at 3,400 all that frequently. You can see by the sim odds. Tyus Jones at 44, next closest guy at 25. He's closer to doubling up these guys than being in the same tier. He's going to have the most ownership. He's the first guy you put into every cash lineup, but don't overthink it. He's that good of a play. He gets there that frequently. Tyus Jones is your number one contender for today. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, March 15th. FanDuel version of this video is around here somewhere, so check it out. Good luck tonight, everybody. Win some money. We are back again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.